Okay, the one thing about timber styles, if you want to get down to the basic building blocks of what makes a style what it is, it's a combination of elegance and strength. And it can be way over on the large, bulky side, and its beauty is in its strength, or it can be in a perfectly proportioned, like a European cathedral, where the timbers are more moderate and a lot of detail on the edges. So you really got a wide spread, but it really comes down to elegance and beauty and how much of each one you combine to get where you want to go. And we've got okay, our first category here is Western Lodge. Any adjectives, anyone? What's the first word that comes to mind? Western Lodge. Dick. What's the first word that comes to mind when you think Western Lodge style?
Western Lodge?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's decent here.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why we're here.
Log cabin. That's good.
Yep. Go ahead and click through them. You'll fill the page. Big Timbers, River Rock. And then these last ones are close to Kara. She's kind of a cowgirl at heart. And so she got them ones. Back up one maybe. Did you guys see all them? Pretty consistent with the Western Lodge style. Okay. Kara, why is this one classified here?
Okay, so what you're going to see is we'll be clicking through some photos that that we've kind of classified in these groups, and some of them you'll see they can go lots of different directions. But this particular one we classified here because of, and you can't see the texture on the mantle very good, but it's kind of a hand-hewn texture, along with the river rock. And when you think of river rock, you think of a little river floating along, and you can bring the outdoors in different ways like this. So this kind of becomes very country or rustic, or it could be western, but it makes you feel like the outdoors a little bit inside.
Here's a close-up of the mantle. Hand-hewn texture typically will be a lot of times with European style, because they had adze and axes before they had the saws. And when the West was won and westward expansion, sawmills were becoming prevalent and so forth. Here is a project. It's a commons area in a subdivision. In fact, Dick and I worked on this together. It's a 33-lot subdivision, that really unique idea for a living community. If you got a birthday, a reunion, whatever it might be, you're only competing with 33 people. You put your name on the list, and you've got just your own personal picnic area. It's really a unique idea. Next. And here's a picture. The reason it's here is from the inside. The main point why this is here is to give you an idea of what your house might look like if you've got a wood ceiling, wood walls, and even a wood floor. That's a lot of wood, and that's where timber framing has an advantage over like a log home. A log home is going to stay a log, pretty much.
Some people may want that look where you have wood on the ceiling, wood on the floor, wood on the walls, wood everywhere, and that's fine, but you need to remember that if you have the opportunity to maybe say we put a wood floor in here, you might want to combine your stain colors just a little bit. Maybe take your wood to a real dark chocolate color, which in turn would pull out the knots and things that are already dark chocolate in the lighter colored wood. And you can see where combining these different stains are going to make a really appealing and not boring look.
Here's an example of metal and wood, and it really offsets nice. Sure.
That particular one isn't super rustic and western, so we threw that in there so that you can see what it looks like with the metal, because you can use metal to your advantage. There's a lot of hammered old metal, that blacksmith milled and made, and so that kind of gives that effect.
This is an entryway that was a remodel. There was a hand-welded copper roof above, and the challenge here was unique in that the roof had to stay. The brick columns were in, and getting all the pieces together with the mortise and tenon and just the sequence that would be built in is kind of a nice, fun challenge. And here's an entry portal. It's up by Mount St. Helens. I don't know if any of you have seen that. And another sign. Here is rock, beams. And what did you like about this, Kara?
Well, I just think it's nice that they did like a river rock with the river mist. I'm always looking for the connection, so you say river mist and you think of the river rock.
And now this project is the project where Kara and I first met. This is up by Castle Rock. So we're gonna go through the pictures so you get an idea of what the house is like before we start talking. And then we'll back up to some pictures that Kara likes. Front door, and here's when you walk into the house. Keep going here, you'll see this. This is part of a 3 Seasons pavilion.
That's the back wall of that room.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll back up. Which one do you want, Kara?
How about this one? We'll start here.
Okay.
So this is that 3 Seasons pavilion, and if you look at Burt's Beams, I love saying that. Burt's Beams here, there was screens in between. They had that they can just push, and the screens will all come up, and then it's just like you're outside. We built the benches all across the bottom, so you can sit right on benches and throw your legs over, and you're outside. So this family uses this extensively all year long because it has a heated floor, so it can stay real warm during the winter, and yet still you're outside. And they're very outdoorsy type people. So if you'll back up a little bit, we'll go to the front. This is between the two. This is a great big fireplace, which is really cool.
Okay, and back up one more, yeah.
And that's
One thing on that 3 Seasons pavilion is the first time I'd ever encountered anything quite like it. It was right off the kitchen, so it was real handy. You take your coffee and your newspaper, whatever you're going to read. You have a breeze, but yet there's real comfortable chairs, no mildew, nothing like that. So you're basically outside, but you still have all the comforts of just kicking your feet up in a hurry. Really kind of a neat idea.
This is a good example of a couple that had two different tastes. They both like the outdoors, and they both agreed on a lot of the same things, but she was very contemporary. So if you look at the furniture, you can see that it's very contemporary with a very rustic, but we did the white trim against the beams, which I think gave it that contemporary lodge style feel together. So this home is beautiful.
Okay, we'll move on to the next set of pictures. Yeah, this truss design right here, if the timbers weren't so big, I believe this would have been classified as a European style of timbers. For the reason that is the crown jewel of the 2,000, 3,000 year old timber frame industry. It's basically triangles stacked up, balanced together. And the reason here, of course, is the size of the timbers for where it is. It just really makes that entry just kind of more of a statement of strength than elegance. And so this is how it ended up here, and that's a project I worked with Randy on.
A couple things I'd like to mention on this one. If you look above the doors, they didn't waste that space. When you have such a massive entry like that, you don't want to just have tons of siding or whatever above your door. You need to fill it with something, which they did a good job of with the glass. Also, look how much roof line you see and what color that is. It's very appealing how they did that color roof. And you see that color in the rock. You see the gold from the beams in the rock. You see the gray from the concrete in the rock, and then the doors are just a little darker than the beams. So this is a very nice color scheme, very appealing and welcoming for a lot of those reasons.
Out of curiosity, how many people do you think actually have all their ducks in a row as to why they chose a certain color, or do you think this was just a lady's eye and she couldn't really say why, but it looked good?
There's a lot of people that have a good eye for this type of stuff, and they kind of know what goes together, but there are some rules of thumb that you need to follow that a lot of people